Another weekend of Chair Shot Reality, your number one procrastination tool on the internet. We are here at Squirrel Hill Sports Bar in Pittsburgh. Josh Eisenberg, Justin LeBar, as we continue to approach Money in the Bank.
Money! Money, 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 money. You even got the green on too, LeBar.
Yeah,
You're ready to go. Grab that briefcase. But Monday night had some interesting revelations outside of Money in the Bank.
It did. AJ Styles and John Cena. Let's go in progressive order here. They start and have a moment, and it is a moment. One of those moments you remember. It stays in the highlight reels for years on. The Green Bay crowd. 2 minutes straight just chanting their names. You feel like something's going to happen, and then all of a sudden we get the big turn.
The big turn as AJ Styles attacks John Cena and realigns himself after a very short period with the club, Gallows, and Anderson. So what you see is AJ Styles not just being a guy who attacks John Cena and leaves, comes back, attacks him more, leaves, comes back once again, and gets even more, which I thought was planned out perfectly. You don't need AJ Styles to be a clear-cut heel or face. These are heel tactics, heel things that they do to get somebody over on John Cena. Now, I had maybe a slight inclination that this would happen when you have both these guys, because I don't think AJ Styles and John Cena's storyline needs to be respect versus respect. I do think John Cena can pull a little bit out of, hey, I'm the big guy in the big pond, and you've been the small guy in a much smaller pond. So that's a really great line and really great angle that I think they can go moving forward. But do they rush this? Do we get the match in 2 weeks? Can they continue to build this out? What do you do?
No, I think you're going to get John Cena versus AJ Styles at Money in the Bank. I don't really see unless they say, okay, the crowd, obviously the Green Bay crowd made that heel turn 5 times even better because they showed so much love just prior to it. And if they really want to hold Styles and Cena out, then I suppose you can try to kill time by having things like Cena and the New Day versus Styles, Gallows, and Anderson to really draw out that one-on-one, can Styles go toe-to-toe with Cena type thing. Bottom line, it's a great story because when you step out of the booking of from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and we bring all factors included, the internet, the rumors, the perceptions amongst different fans around the world, what better opponent for the club that kind of represents everything else but WWE, because they've dominated every other promotion but WWE. What better opponent than the flag bearer of WWE and John Cena? And really, this could be, we keep talking about does Triple H come back and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but this really could be what SummerSlam gets ultimately built around, because AJ Styles versus John Cena, it's not quite Hogan versus Flair, it is the guy who dominated the industry-leading WWE against the guy who dominated everywhere else.
Well, and that's the thing is, everybody always casts such a bad shadow on TNA, but Styles was a TNA guy for a very long time. Yeah, he made his name maybe to a larger extent at Ring of Honor in his short time there in the Bullet Club and when he left TNA and when he went over to New Japan. But you see the marketability from AJ Styles as soon as he walked into WWE. He had his pop at Royal Rumble, had a loss at WrestleMania against Chris Jericho that many people were complaining about, but the next night elevates himself to the top of the level once again and becomes a number one contender for the World Championship. AJ Styles is a player. AJ Styles is a big player in the WWE pond, and people who ever think that AJ Styles shouldn't or may not be a World Championship material has to recheck their facts. I do recall you saying that you're not sure if AJ Styles will ever be World Champion in WWE.
Before he ever debuted, I did, and I've also gone back and said since that WWE actually did surprise me with how AJ Styles' first couple months in WWE went from Rumble to Mania. I certainly look at him in WWE as, okay, WWE's ready to look at him as World Championship material. I still don't know if he actually ever will hold the world title, but that's not on account of him not being worthy. It's on account of he doesn't really need to. The guy can lose 5 matches in a row. Wins and losses ultimately don't really matter. I think his fan base proves that.
And I think to establish himself as one of the best, he's not going to be on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling just because he hasn't been in WCW, WWE. He hasn't been in these huge organizations where he's established himself in front of millions of people on a weekly basis for 10 or 15 years. But he can still be remembered as one of the big dogs for WWE in the next 3, 4, 5 years, along with guys like Seth Rollins, along with guys like Roman Reigns, all these pieces that WWE has right now. is really just putting together a really deep and a really developed roster where they can interchange just small pieces. They can interchange one guy from a world championship feud for 2 or 3 months and then go back to it, or have a triple threat match, or have a fatal four-way. That's what you get with guys like Seth Rollins, John Cena, Randy Orton when he comes back, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns. This is the perfect time for a guy like AJ Styles to establish himself as not just an indie guy, not just an outsider, but coming in with that outsider's mentality and becoming a WWE guy, which isn't a bad thing right now for him because he's done so much everywhere else. It's okay for him to be established and being under that WWE umbrella.
One final note of something I like that they did on Raw, and I hope it continues on. I like the fact that Gallows and Anderson attacked the New Day over here, that the commentators really sold it as they're trying to put their mark on the tag division, attacking the champs, and then, of course, they're involved with Styles. You know me, I'm really big about when you have groups and factions, I hate it when they travel like a school of fish. They can have multiple storylines. Gallows and Anderson can be involved in the tag title picture over here and still be backing up Styles. You know, I hate the fact that the Wyatt family, they have to follow only what Bray Wyatt does. I mean, you look back at all the great ones. DX, Outlaws did their thing, Triple H did his thing, X-Pac did their thing. At the end of the day, they all came together when they had to. Same thing with Hogan and the NWO. Hogan had his thing, but everybody else had theirs. I hope that to make the club that much stronger, let them cover more ground.
And you're right. Every stable has had more than one storyline to focus on. That's something that I wrote about on WrestleZone after Raw on Monday night. You have to put them, you don't have to overexpose them, but when you have 3 hours and 10 minutes of television, it's okay for your prime players to get 3 segments, 2 or 3 segments to develop from 8 o'clock to 10, because people forget a lot that happens in those 3 hours. And you put them in 2 or 3 storylines, 3 or 2 segments, I'm okay with that. And I think it's only going to benefit those 3 guys moving forward.
At Josh Eisenberg 4 on Twitter, at Justin LeBar, at CS Reality. Like us on Facebook. You can go to the YouTube. There's a WrestleZone YouTube page. There's the Chairshot Reality YouTube page. There's WZTV on WrestleZone.com. We are everywhere. If you can't find us, you really aren't looking.
We're like porn. We're everywhere.
With similar reward.
Like porn. Yeah,
we got plenty more. Renell Hunt's going to join us. Don't go anywhere.